You bet. First of all, I'd like to give a big thanks out to all the men and women that serve our country, past and present, Veterans Day today. So I'm military background. Both my grandfathers, my father, my brother, several aunt and uncles. So special day. So on the game this past week against Eastern Michigan, I said after the game, our best 4 quarters, very pleased. Unbelievable job by our defense to come up big in the second half. Turnover and the sack, just the perfect time. So very happy with getting it done. The big thing I think moving forward is we were able to take the Miami game, learn from the positives from the game, and again put it together for 4 quarters against Eastern Michigan. Got a huge challenge this week against Toledo. Very similar going into the Eastern Michigan game, with Toledo. They're coming off back-to-back 50-point games. We got a chance to watch the game last night on TV as a staff, of course. They've kind of settled in at quarterback, I think, and they're getting a lot of things done offensively. And then this defensively, they're top 3 basically in every category in defense, number 1 in 2 or 3 of them. So it'll be another huge challenge.
Coach, after the game against Eastern Michigan, Bryce Houston was commenting on the game. You said the defense kind of hit like a sweet spot. They weren't too high, weren't too low. And, coming off these 2 games where, defense has kind of come together more and more as match play has gone on, how do you kind of build off of a very complete game like your win against Eastern Michigan against, probably your biggest challenge of match play?
Yeah, well, first of all, I got to give a big shout out to Coach Collins and the guys on defense. Unbelievable job with who they're missing in the lineup. It'd take me 10 minutes to go through what they're going through. And then on top of those guys that didn't even travel to the game, okay, at halftime, Kyler McCracken was out for the rest of the game. Bryce Dye was out, and Jeremiah Wood didn't play a snap. Okay? And all 3 of those guys prepared to play the game. So they were getting the reps in practice leading up to the game, and then they were out basically after the first quarter. Jeremiah didn't even suit up. So it's an unbelievable job. I don't know how else to say it. So they're going to have a huge challenge going into Toledo. We are going to be on a skeleton crew at practice today. There's talk even just doing a walkthrough. That's kind of where we are injury-wise, coming through the game against Eastern. So it'll be a humongous challenge. This football team has found a way to have a next man up mentality, and that's what we're going to do moving forward.
Early in the season, the offense kind of struggled in the red zone. That's kind of turned a corner now. What kind of led to that type of transition where you're actually getting touchdowns rather than just field goals like at the beginning of the season?
I think just the flow of it, we kind of settled in, found some consistency up front. We're protecting a little bit better up front when we choose to throw. We've grown and gotten better, and so does who you're playing have something to do with it? Northwestern is a Big Ten school, Syracuse is an ACC school, maybe, but we need touchdowns, and we weren't getting them there at some point in time when we are now. So hopefully that continues.
Speaking in terms of growth, over his past 3 games, Curtis has thrown for an average of about just over 270 yards per game. His past 3 games, and his past 2 games, he's thrown 3 touchdown passes. It's a big turnaround from non-conference play where he kind of struggled a bit, and then you guys brought in Armani for a bit. Can you kind of comment on Curtis's growth over this season? Kind of what you've seen out of him. Has he become more comfortable with the offense?
That's a fair assessment. I think he's also comfortable with, taking what the defense gives him. I mean, I referenced this early, maybe the second week or third week. Against Syracuse, we've got a too high passing concept, and if he sits on his back foot, we had a chance to get a couple touchdowns against Syracuse in the red zone. And then we ran the same concept the next week, and he threw the ball where he should. I think getting comfortable and then just taking what the defense gives him. We were close. I know we didn't have any touchdown passes, and he threw for over 300 yards, but we got tackled at the half-yard line on 2 passes that could have easily gone in, but they didn't, And just from a play calling standpoint, we really haven't really changed anything what we're calling. I think just more execution at the right time is kind of the reason for the success.
Yeah, Jake Netherton got 6 carries on Tuesday night. We haven't seen a whole lot of him throughout the season. What are your kind of comments on his progression throughout the season, where he's getting more carries now?
Yeah, he's very capable. As I said early in fall camp, running back's one of our deepest positions. O'Shawn did not make the trip due to injury. We're hopeful that he's back against Toledo. I'll know more tomorrow, how he does when we're in pads. But again, Jake's. If O'Shawn's not ready to go, you'll see Jake. You're gonna see CA, and so who I think also has done some really good things. But Jake probably had his, I can't say best game, but I know that there were some big holes. He broke some tackles, yards after contact. Had some really good blocks in the course of the game. So Jake's again talented, and you'll see him without that long flowing hair. Out the back of his helmet in the game against Toledo.
Toledo's another opponent that's kind of known for high scoring, like you commented earlier, and I've heard a lot from you and your players that you wanted to make opposing offenses very one-dimensional and really shut that down. And you really brought that out in the game against Miami. Kind of the opposing quarterback, DeQuan Finn, he's not as far. Doesn't have as many passing yards as the past 3 quarterbacks you've gone up against, and his completion percentage is a bit lower. Does that make it easier to kind of make that team one-dimensional or focus on that?
Toledo's, if you watch them, they're very similar to what we went through. They've lost some close games. I mean, they're a couple of wins away from being an 8 to 9 win team. I know what their record is and where they stand right now, but they outplayed Notre Dame and really had a chance to win the game. And then, they got upset at Colorado State. Was kind of a head scratcher. They were splitting quarterbacks. They were basically going every other play, with the quarterback system, with Carter Bradley. But they kind of settled in with DeQuan, like you said, and when he's in there, it looks like they've spent some time studying the Ravens, Baltimore, a lot offensively and things they do, and so. They're really, if both those guys are playing, we'd have to have probably 2 different game plans. But the last 2 weeks, to your point, they've kind of settled in and have really done a good job with moving the football and scoring a lot of points. So Ron and the staff will be challenged. He's got a unique skill set. He can run the ball, but he can also throw the ball. I personally think it's a lot like Armani, and so we'll definitely have to make sure that we have. Know where he's at and the things that come off of the wrinkles in the running game, as far as the quarterback running game goes.
Yeah, I kind of asked you about the senior night thing on Tuesday, but how special is it going to be? Obviously, Coach Solich has been down there, shake hands. How special is it going to be for you for the first time to be down there shaking their hands as they come out of that tunnel?
Very proud, and it'll be an emotional deal for me. I'm a big teddy bear when it comes to these young men, and you think about their time and the recruitment of them when they were still in high school. You get to know their families, then you get to know the siblings and aunts and uncles as they come to the games on Saturday, and the relationship grows and grows and grows, and you see these guys that they're going to go on and be productive citizens, and they're going to be great husbands, and they're going to be great fathers. So it's an emotional time. I'm going to enjoy it, hugging them one last time, in their gear. And I've challenged the team to play their best 4 quarters in their honor because I want it to be a special moment.
Does the senior night kind of carry a little bit more, or is it kind of, I don't know how to really phrase this question, but senior night, after 2 very big wins over 2 opponents that you guys were kind of underdogs against, and then going up against another team you're an underdog against.
Yes.
Does that kind of put a bit more emphasis on this?
Yeah, I think if we can find a way to play our best 4 and try to steal another one, because no one's going to give us much of a chance. You look at the data. We all know what the data is. It is what it is, and it'll be again a huge challenge. I don't think it puts any more pressure on us, but it'll dang sure if we can find a way to get it done, it's going to make it that much more sweeter. I do know that. their last home game. So that's what we're going to try to get done.
Has that kind of motivated you guys, saying, people haven't really given you much of a chance this season? Has that kind of motivated you guys over these past?
I mean, sure, in the back of my mind, it's not what fuels me and why I get up when I come in, But staff-wise, I've challenged the staff. Look, just especially after the Kent State game, as another close game that we just could not find a way to make a couple plays late. We made the mistakes early in the game in the red zone, and I've challenged. Look, just coach whoever's playing for you on defense, because there's been so many guys out there. Whomever's getting the reps this week, get them better, make them better. Just focus on getting the guys that are playing better, and let me worry about the rest of it. And whether it be Parker at center, or Michael Ballantyne at safety or Alex Wolf at safety, just get them better than the week before, and then we'll put our best 11 out there and move forward. I think that in the kind of games that we've been through with Miami underdogs and Eastern underdogs, kind of let's do it for us, play for each other. They've shown to do that, and not a lot of pressure in those types of games when you're playing for each other, and our guys have responded to that message.
Going back to the senior night, I think the Lorman Twins have been here 6 or 7 years. Played high school with Joe Burrow. How special is that going to be to honor them? And then obviously, what have they meant to the program all these years?
Very proud. It's 7 years, and those two young men grew up in my backyard, on my son's trampoline. So I've known them since they were this tall. At Little League baseball, and then watching them basketball, and obviously going to see Joe play. They were always in all the sports, football, basketball, baseball. And so it's going to be special to me and my wife and my son and daughter, for that matter, because they went to school with them. And so I'm obviously close to their parents and their family. They've had a great career here. I'll never forget the looks on their faces when we beat Miami. Last time we beat Miami was in 17, and Connor Brown was, a tight end. We didn't get it done in 18. And so both those guys have basically taken every rep at tight end, and we were able to get the win. And they were just, tears in their eyes after the game. And so I'm sure it'll be the same after the Toledo win, I hope.
Just one last question for me. It kind of seems like the small mistakes that kind of tripped you guys up over, these past few games, whatever it be a cold snap on offense or just, penalties that, as you said, come at
Yes.
Come very untimely, are slowly starting to get ironed out. Has it been a long process to kind of iron those out, or is it just kind of hammering away at that? I
think just the hammering away, because the guys know. I mean, they know the rules. They know, that you can't be outside, but they're on edge because they want to be perfect, and you got to be at the line on the edge. You can't go over the line, and we've crossed it sometimes at some bad times, whether it be pass interference, because you're going to be aggressive. You're going to have a couple. If you're going to be aggressive, we're going to get off the ball on the defensive line and try to disrupt. And so there are going to be a couple. You're going to have a couple. You just hope they don't come on 3rd and 2, And you don't want that pass interference in the last drive, And so we're not a perfect system yet, but we have, for some reason, in these last 2 games, they weren't at the wrong time, So I'm hoping that streak continues moving forward.